Hi there, I'm back again talking about mediumship. Now, this is a story. Now, my cynical mind can pull this story to pieces a bit just because of when it occurred and how it occurred. But another part of me goes, nah, that is just, and it's a weird story, so I'm going to tell you anyway. I was working in Dudley, and I was at a table, and my guides came through to me and they said, "All right, tell them about Alice in Wonderland." And I went, "Well, no one's going to say it. This happens in a blink of an eye. This conversation with spirit. It's not long and drawn out. There are two thoughts that pass each other, and it is a case of we're at times, if I'm not just doing what I'm told and just giving out what I'm getting, and I get into the process of it, which I do occasionally, and I have a debate with spirit and." Yeah, that's going to work, that's not going to work, this is great. Nothing to do with me, but I do it, that's who I am. Okay. So, they say, the spirit said about, oh, tell them about Alice in Wonderland, and I went, no one's going to take that. So he said, right, tell them, so I did. And guess what? On that table, no one took that. And they said, tell them in a guy in a full like white rabbit suit. I said, you are taking the mickey. So I mentioned it, right? And I sort of remembered a joke about a church. And a medium had gone rogue, and he basically started breaking down what the spirits were saying and doctoring it a bit to make it more amenable to his audience rather than what the spirits were saying. Now, there's a massive debate about that. There's a massive debate about what you should come through and whether or not you've got some responsibility within that, i.e. if somebody was turning around and going, quite nasty and quite vengeful things to somebody. I've never experienced it, but let's assume they did. I wouldn't pass it on because I'm not there to make someone feel worse or bad or whatever else, and I wouldn't try and engage with that kind of energy. So I don't believe that I'm a complete puppet to the spirit world. I believe that I work with the spirit world to pass on information from them that I believe on a whole will be of benefit to people. So the joke was, this medium had gone rogue, and they said, right, that woman there in the third row of the audience. Oh, it's a story, not a joke, by the way. Yeah, tell her her knickers are killing her. He said, I can't say that. We're in a church. I just can't say that. They said, well, you're not getting out else off us unless you tell her. So he squirmed on stage, being looked at by all these people and just not saying anything because he hadn't out to say. And then he said to the woman, he said, right. And so he doctored it. He did what he thought was the best thing for a church. And he said to her, he said, excuse me, are you having some discomfort with your underwear? And she went, yeah, my knickers have been killing me all night. And everyone in the church laughed, and it raised the energy, and they moved on from there. So it's about just trusting and giving the stuff. But on that night, I trusted, I give it, and I got nothing. And I thought, okay, not a problem. So next bit was well taken by somebody, and all my messages on that table from then on was quite okay. Got to the next table, Alice in Wonderland, and I thought, oh, please stop it. So I said it, and this woman said, oh yeah, that was my hen party last week. Right, guy in a full length white rabbit suit. Oh yeah, I'm getting married to him on Saturday, and he's wearing a full length white rabbit suit. And I thought, how random is that? That is just such precise evidence for me. Because I'm like, not everyone's an Alice in Wonderland end party, and not everyone gets married in a full-length white rabbit suit. Not everyone around here, anyway. If there's an area near you where that occurs all the time, please let me know, because then I'll just change my view of the world. So the information was right, but the timing was wrong. Now, this happens a lot in spirit, because it's like being at a bar, in my mind, because I get thoughts, people or entities can come in and they can be shouting. You might be the first person in the queue at the bar, but if someone's shouting over you with their order, there's a chance sometimes that you may get served later down the pecking order than the person who stood there quietly waiting to have their word said. And when you have events, or I've been involved with events where we've been working quite a lot and there's a lot of people there, sometimes you'll have noisier energies that jump in. Sometimes you'll have a very strong personality in the physical world who comes through and doesn't want to shut up, keeps jumping into all the other people's messages and keeps taking over, as they possibly would in life. So sometimes I can start off, because I get thoughts and see things in my mind's eye, I can start off with one person talking to me and someone else will jump in, and if I don't pick up on the energetic slight twist, then I can get a very jumbled message at times, and that's not ideal. But you do your best and you do what you can. I moaned at Spirit a bit ago, saying, well, not everything I do is dead precise, it's not all brilliant. And they said, well, if you could see somebody in the spirit world, or send somebody and you could see them through a stained glass window and you couldn't see them fully properly or whatever else, but knew they was there, would that be better than not knowing? Well, I said, well, yeah, I think so. And they said, well, there you go. So apparently I could be a bit of a stained glass window, and maybe there's clearer people that can give messages out there. Sometimes I find parts in it that are a bit clearer, I think, or the evidence suggests. But my mind will be, I've got to get it right, I've got to do this, got to do that, I've just got to do as I'm told. And that, sometimes the ego don't like that, but that's life, innit? So, yeah, evidence. This is something that I'm going to be doing lots of different videos on, because I think chances of that being random, very, very low. The fact that it's a wedding week, the fact that she's just done one, the other one's doing it, and it would be perfect and I would bang on it forever if I hadn't given it at the table previously, because that devalued it for me. Now, as I was just saying, maybe a spirit had jumped in its enthusiasm to pass that message on. A table early happens. Sometimes what will happen is you'll get someone come and talk to you, they'll give a very clear, precise message, no one takes it. You regurgitate it on the next one, nothing, and then on the third or fourth table, someone takes it spot on because that person had just jumped in with that message. And they was a bit more powerful than what was around, as in better able to communicate and more motivated. I don't know how it works and I don't know why it works. I've had experiences where I've done parties when there might be 6 or 7 people there. I don't know them from Adam. Someone books it, they all come in. Everyone looks a bit different, obviously. And at the end of the night, someone said, oh yeah, and there was 5 sisters in there and the mum come through to 4 of them but not the 5th. No idea. Don't understand why that happens. I've also been at events where I've given a message to one person, very, very loving energy came through, very positive, and building the person up, to the next up to them, quite not confrontational energy with the person, giving them an hard time and going on about not really giving them a lot of respect or love when they was there. And then them two turned around and said, yeah, we're sisters. And they say it was the same energy that came through and it felt so different. And they said, yeah, that's how we experienced our life. She loved her, she hated me. So it is weird, really, because I have assumptions about this and I have assumptions about that, but they are just assumptions. So, what am I saying? All this is the journey for me just to trust and to get out of my own way. And these videos are part of that, just to give the evidence to someone. I'm going, yeah, but what happens if they then go and change their life from it? And what happens if some of them changes aren't instantly positive? What happens if them changes cause pain and chaos with them? That ain't my bag. I'm just giving a message. And at the end of the day, everything... I don't suppose that we avoid pain and growth in life. Sometimes we choose to do things that help us grow, and that can be quite positive. And we feel more in control of it. And sometimes we have things thrust upon us where we have to start taking control and moving forward with it. So, yeah, it is about getting out of the way. But again, I don't think I'm ever going to be confident or comfortable getting out of the way. If I felt that the stuff was derogatory or negative about somebody, I just wouldn't do it and I wouldn't engage with that energy. So I'm never going to be an open book that lets anything through, because I just don't feel that's where I'm at or I can do that. On the other side of it, I've never had anything particularly negative come through to make me feel like I wanted to do that. So, when I was saying about the person who was negative, it was sort of acknowledging that I wasn't, I did give you an hard time and I wasn't very loving with you and I never told you I loved you and all that. Like, it wasn't saying, oh, you're a terrible person. It was an interaction of a conflict that was there, an acknowledgement of a conflict that was there, and their stance on it, rather than saying that the other person was wrong, and felt more of an olive branch rather than a sort of kick him again. So again, that's just where I'm at with that. But I'm just going to keep putting these on, and it'd be great if you watch them and you get something from them and comment. But there has been quite a lot of amazing things that have made me look at stuff and go, yeah, what about this, what about that, what about the other? And I guess at the end of the day, in life, that's all we've got. We are just looking at stuff and saying, does that make sense to me? Doesn't that make sense to me? Or do you know, that sounds a bit crazy before it even starts. I'm not even trying to imagine what that's about. So all that's where we're at. And subscribe to the video, like, and put your comments down. Just let me know what you think about it. But I'll carry on with these. I'll just keep sharing random thoughts and see what people think. Alright, thanks very much for your time.